Hey everyone, Mecha-san here. It's Saturday, which means RWBY, and we got another World of Remnant. Damn it! Okay, well, it's definitely an interesting topic. Crow's gonna talk about the Great War. I was really hoping this comes after, like, Chapter 10, as I mentioned in the in Chapter 9 here. Come on. But they look like they're really sticking to the whole one chapter here, and then a World of Remnant, and... oh well, it's always nice to learn more about Remnant. So let's see, okay. That's up. Maximize that. The Great War. Excuse me.
The Great War. What a terrible name for such a horrible time in history.
That's what they called World War I at the time.
Though the war itself lasted around 10 years, the century leading up to it was filled with so much tension, you might as well lump them together.
Damn.
And most of that tension was coming from Mistral.
Oh.
Territories rich with resources and safe from Grimm have always been in high demand. But the Emperor of Mistral had managed to conquer nearly all that Anima had to offer, thanks in part to an unlikely friend, Mantle.
Okay.
The two kingdoms had
The guy from Mistral looks like the first Emperor of China.
Provided the small kingdom with goods unavailable in the frozen tundra. In return, Mantle introduced technological innovation as well as guidance in the settlement of Anima's cold, northern territory. It was good, until it wasn't. An incident in Mantle led to a strange and unexpected decree. The abolishment of the arts and repression of self-expression.
What?
The people of Mantle had come to believe that they would be much safer from the Grimm if they could simply keep the emotions of the masses in check. Given Mistral's strong, artistic culture, many assumed this would be the end of their alliance. But they were wrong. Mistral complied, selectively, enforcing Mantle's wishes only in the outer territories, allowing the centralized powers to continue to live as they pleased.
A cruel compromise.
On yet, Mistral's full of jerks.
Yeah, I see it.
The people of Vale had a problem with this. Well, they had a problem with a lot of things Mistral and Mantle had been up to.
Oh, big list then.
Citizens' use of slave labor, and their constant insistence that their way of life was what was best for everyone.
Oh,
eventually,
sounds like Russia.
Mistral made the jump
USSR.
across the sea to the eastern coast of Samus. The
So,
small islands and peninsulas in the area were perfect to establish a settlement. They were so perfect, in fact, that Vale had just begun settling the area themselves. I think we can all guess what happened next. The King of Vale did everything he could to avoid armed conflict.
Now, this is the first time we're actually hearing about the
Despite
King of
cries
Vale.
from his people, he insisted on sharing the land with the settlers from Mistral. But to this day, no one knows who shot first. But what began as a riot between the two bands of
The
settlers
shot heard around the world thing.
had suddenly become the first battle of the Great War. Mantle quickly came to Mistral's side. Battles were fought on both Sanus and Anima Sol. Villages were lost to both combat and Grimm.
Shit!
And it wasn't long before Vacuo decided to join the party. Up to this point, Vacuo had done its best to stay out of the fight. Mantle and Mistral, having both already established a small presence in Vacuo territory years before, promised to leave them provided they didn't interfere. Soon, those talks evolved. It went from don't side with them
To side with us.
and you'll be safe.
Yep.
Vacuo did not much care for that. He came to the conclusion that if Vale were to fall,
Not the ruler?
no one left to stop Mistral and Mantle from conquering them next.
Yeah.
So they did what they considered to be the logical thing. They drove Mantle and Mistral out of Vacuo and told Vale they had their backs. I love their style.
Yeah, me too.
So the war raged on. Grim attacks increased worldwide. On the battlefield, this meant a temporary ceasefire in order to deal with the hordes of monsters before returning to the fight at hand.
Damn.
Those left miserable back at home, however, were often helpless with their best warriors away fighting the good fight.
Ew.
A lot of settlements were lost during these years, and most were never reclaimed. Rations on food and dust were put into effect. Development of technology accelerated. Humans and faunas who fought alongside one another became closer. And every day, mankind grew more and more efficient at destroying itself.
Ain't that reality?
But it all ended in the Vacuo campaign.
Ooh.
Mistral and Mantle knew that if they could take the dust mines of Vacuo, they would effectively cut off the supply of dust to their enemy. It was to be a final devastating blow to Vale and Vacuo. They were only half right. The King of Vale personally led his army into battle alongside the soldiers of Vacuo.
Okay, I like this guy.
Decimated the enemy forces. Crown atop his head and armed only with a sword and his scepter, he laid waste to countless men. As the sand was soaked red with blood,
oh shit,
the Grim came in droves. It was the single deadliest battle of the war, and legends of the greatness and terror of the warrior king were born that day.
You think he's a relic?
Historians will tell you most of these stories are nothing but grandiose hyperbole. Unusually violent weather conditions, combined with Mantle's unfamiliarity with the desert combat, are likely what led to such a high death count. But whatever the reasoning, everyone bowed to the King of Vale by the time it was over. The Great War had ended. The world was ready to live under the rule of Vale. But the king refused. The leaders of the Four Kingdoms met on the island of Vital, and it was there that they worked together to form a treaty and establish the future of Remnant.
The Vital Festival, that's where we got the name from. The island.
Territories were redistributed, slavery was abolished, governments restructured, and the warrior king, the last king Vale would ever have, founded the Huntsman Academies and placed his most trusted followers in command of each kingdom's school. He would teach the world to fight so long as we promised to fight for ourselves and never against ourselves.
Okay, so that's how.
Seems like we haven't kept our end of the bargain.
Yeah, it lasted for a bit, but there's always going to be decadence and shit like that. That was interesting! I've always wondered, why were they called the Kingdoms? Wow, finally got me teary-eyed there. But yeah, I've always wondered why they were called the Kingdoms when there was really no evidence, there was no mention of any monarch or king or queen. And yeah, it explains everything. It's like the whole monarchy system was technically abolished by the end of the Great War. But the name stuck. I don't know. I mean, maybe in honor of the King of Vale, but yeah, instead of a monarchy, we have like some sort of I'm guessing a democracy with a council, and yeah, we saw how the schools were founded. I'm assuming the King of Vale did use one of the relics. I have no idea, but that was interesting. I love this fact. Now I just want to see like a video about the freaking war. And more statistics, please. I mean, how many people died during the Vacuo campaign at the end? It's like, this was definitely like a bit of, essentially, the Cold War, if it became a hot war, and without nuclear arsenal. More or less. I mean, especially with how Mistral thought the world should be run like this, and shit like that. Sorry, people. Sorry about people. It's just interruptions. So, yeah, that was very informative. I learned so much. I have no idea, although, what the Mantle thoughts, suppressing emotion and creativity. No, we we know how, if anything, doing that would have attracted the Grimm, because you're literally preventing people from expressing themselves, which leads to, like, I don't know, sadness, depression and everything, which are negative emotions, which attract what? Yeah, if anything, you need art and creativity to keep people happy. Because happiness is the emotion that Grimm are not attracted to. Positive emotions. The more happy a kingdom is, the less likely it is to get attacked by Grimm or attract Grimm. That's obvious. Well, I gotta admit, so far of all the World of Remnants, this was the best. I really want to know more about the Great War here. I want to have like a visual. I want to, of course, the former ruler of Mistral definitely looked like the first emperor of China. I want to know what the ruler of Vacuo looked like, because, yeah, I'm curious. Yeah. Okay. Enough of that. Enough of being creepy. Alright, so yes, again, very, very well done. I love Crow's delivery and everything. Oh boy, can't wait for another chapter here. I want my chapter. I want to see what happens. Will RWBY meet her aunt Raven for the first time? I mean, come on. That'll be very interesting. Alright, then, enough of that. So, people, as always, like and subscribe for more videos. Hit that little dumb bell. Why? And as always, you know where to find me. Until next time, this is Mecha-san, logging out.